Alright, so the previous throws were running against a log ground, which is a rather easy target. So here's plywood, much harder. Well, that initially didn't look too good, but these are doing surprisingly well. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing horizontal Negishi-Ryu no spin and see if I can stay in this. Hello everybody, today I, Jard, am going to be reviewing these budget Negishi type shuriken that you can see on a lot of places like Amazon, karatemart, etc. And, well, I know I just did all those throws and that speaks for itself, but I feel like I should explain a few things to anybody curious about them. So, these have a pretty bad reputation on everywhere that I've seen. People saying that they either can't throw and can't stick due to the shape and balance, which surprises me because newer throwers tend to not realize these things. They tend to just blame themselves instead of thinking, like understanding that the balance is wrong. It just surprises me. And it is wrong. The balance is about right where my fingertip is. It is right where this swell starts. Right about here. And it's not as bad as I thought it would be. However, when it comes to shuriken, having the point of balance about like an inch from the top is something that you're not going to see on other things. And for that reason, I don't recommend these to beginners. Even though they're cheap and a budget option, I understand the appeal. If you buy these and you practice with them and you get good with them, I feel that you're going to get the wrong impression about shuriken, and you're going to train yourself in a bad way, which is to always, you do hold it naturally because of where it is. But with other shuriken, you should start practicing, where the balance is. And I feel like this just might give you some bad habits, the way you have to throw these. Speaking of, they don't throw that well. As you saw, they were doing pretty well against the log ground and the plywood, which surprised me, given the design, the large rounded tip. It's very front heavy. I didn't think it would stick in a tough target like plywood, because it's also not that sharp. I didn't file these. This is out of the box. So they did okay. I was throwing from about 6 to 12 feet away, which might sound good if you're new, but for me, that's basically my fail-safe distance where I could throw anything. So I can't really say much besides that these don't fly well. They fly normally for a budget shuriken, and I was doing consistent throws from about 6 to 12 feet. What you might have seen in a lot of those is because of this design, the blunt tip and the front heavy, it often would stick in and then just fall out. Or what's harder to see because it's all blurry and dark in those shots is many times it would do this, it would stick in and then just slap itself, or go sideways and it would just slap itself and fall off like I completely missed. but I didn't. I was hitting with the point. However, it doesn't have much of a presence in the wood, and it just kind of, wants to shake itself out. This surprised me given the lack of weight in the back, but, So I was curious, due to one of the complaints being that these break easily, especially in the middle, what the construction was like. I couldn't see under this. But, turns out this just fell off while I was practicing. So, this is what it looks like. It's just a normal metal bar, completely normal. That's honestly better than I thought. I was worried that something like it could stop right here or something, and the other material was something else. So this is pretty much expected. I can't say I like it, but Also, while I have this camera shot, this shuriken here, I believe it's this one, is uneven on one side. Let me find my other shuriken real quick. Oh, here it is. It's on my arm. One of these came, this one. You see that droop? This isn't going to lose any points for me. When you have cheap items, I just want to explain, you deal with a lot of variants, whether it's swords or knives or throwing stuff. The cheaper the item, the more variants you have in quality. And the droop on that one is just part of that. Now, a lot of those shots had me hitting one and missing one. I'm not going to blame the drooper, but that might have been it. But anyway, that's the construction. I'm not sure how these were breaking on people, to be honest. Unless you're, really slapping against concrete. Because while the construction is, not the strongest thing, and it's not very shapely, it's not weak. I mean, this part alone is as thick as the senbon I was throwing. And you've got this really meaty top part, which was surprisingly thick. About as thick as my pinky. And I was concerned this was going to be a really tiny shuriken when I got it, because most pictures lie, and you get puny stuff for the price. But anyway, I'm going to stop going on. I think that these are surprisingly fine. If you, want to get into Shuriken, I would just train with something else first. If you're on a budget, either buy those senbon I got before, they have the 3 and 5 packs, or go out to Home Depot, buy some nails of your choosing, and just file the tips. That's what I do when I'm bored, and it costs, almost nothing. But if you have some experience, and you just really want a Negishi-type shuriken, which is very rare on the market currently, Negishi-Ryu refuses to. Dang it! Sorry, just going to put this between shots real quick. I forgot to review the sheath it comes with. So, this is the same as a senbon sheath. It's just a cheap fabric and 2 Velcro straps. But it works rather well. Difference being, these are rather snug in this. They will not fall out, I promise, due to the large head design. And they work pretty well. That tightness can work against you if you're trying to draw these one-handed. It'll pull up on your arm. But it's actually rather nice for a budget shuriken option. Alright, my apologies. I had to run inside to finish this. But what I was saying was that Negishi-Ryu, as in the official schools in Japan, they refuse to commercially produce their shuriken. They produce it custom for the members. They have someone who makes them. But you have to resort to, commercial items like this. And the Hanwei shuriken look exactly like this almost, but they're $80 for a pack of 6. I've heard those are absolutely awful everywhere I look, so I wouldn't do that. Otherwise, you have some eBay vendors you can look into. That's what I'll be doing next. And I wanted to say that this design, particularly, reminds me more of Kono-Ryu, at least the picture in this book. But it is specifically trying to imitate one Negishi design, which is more slender. And for the maki, or wrapping, it uses lacquered wire. I'm going to pull that up right now. So that's what it's trying to imitate. This is a budget Negishi. I'm honestly surprised it got made. This isn't an easy design to produce, which is why no one custom makes these normally. So it's a niche item, If you like these, then I'm not going to say to not get it. I mean, it's cool. The bomber head design, again, it's just aesthetic. People like it. I like it. It's just, I wouldn't do this if you're brand new. These are a good budget option. They throw well for what they are. Just get some practice in first, and, you'll be throwing these fine. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Thank you all for watching, and I hope some of this helped, despite the fact I couldn't say much, and, the throws were kind of crappy. Anyway, you all have a nice day.